Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. Gonna get started in a minute. Alright, 1 second. We're gonna get started in a minute. Alright. Facing the east. Giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakodash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means He is, He exists. Yahawashi is the Son's true name. That means He saves, He delivers. And Rekakodash is how you say a spirit that's holy, a spirit that's set apart. Alright. It's your brother Yerami Kazak. Back with hopefully another edifying lesson. As always, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children. All right, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. So let's get into this one. This one is going to be entitled Morality. Morality. Okay. Now, this is, these individuals on this planet, they tend to make their own morality, right? And we're going to read the definition, a couple definitions. So the first one is simply off the AI overview. And it says, morality is a system of principles, values, and standards that guide people in deciding what is right or wrong, good or bad, right? Now, I got a question to the comment board, okay? I don't see too many brothers in here yet, but whoever's in here, what decides our standard of morality? What determines for us what is right or wrong? Okay, simple question. What determines for us what is right or wrong? Yeah. More than that, more than the Torah. Okay, but yeah, the Bible in general. All right, because understanding this is also, it's also laws and things of that nature in Psalms. It's also things that you're told to do in the book of Isaiah, the book of Ezekiel. Okay, you was told to what? Go forth and get 2 sticks and put them together. Is that in the Torah? It really is, though. Numbers 17, and we could get that real quick. But these laws are kind of reinstated in different parts and different places as Yahawashi came and had to remind them of these type of things. And then Paul came and reminded us of these type of things. So yeah, everything is stemming from the first 5 books, right? Let's go to that Numbers. Because this would also, if these individuals that claim they read the Bible, you're ultimately going against it if you're saying that we don't need a 12 tribes chart. Okay? This is Numbers 17:1. And Yahawah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and take of every one of them a rod according to the house of their fathers, of all their princes according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods. Write thou every man name upon his rod. Okay? So, in this sense, Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, Reuben, Gad, Manasseh, Ephraim, Zebulun, Simeon, Levi, Benjamin, Judah. These are the 12 names written on one rod. 12 names written to let you know. And then you pertain unto that house. You pertain unto this house. Right? So that matches up. Where it tells you to, go and tell the dead bones, the dry bones, okay, who they are, truly. So, it's of the law to have a 12 tribes chart, to let your people know who they are. And then furthermore, you don't want to suffer sin upon your people, so you want them to know who they are. You want to love thy neighbor as you love thyself. If you know who you are, wouldn't you want your brother or sister to know who they are? All right? So it's very important to consider that, man. Let me try to fix my camera view. Okay, yeah, that's better. So, morality. Let's go first to, we can go to, let me see, 1 Samuel. The 2nd chapter. And we can start at verse 6. Yahawah killeth. So the Most High. Okay? And now also Yahawashi. Because Yahawashi has the power to take your life. He has the power to save you. He has the power to lift you up, to make you weak. So Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi maketh, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Upon his morality, upon his principles, his values, his standards, which is, what is his standards? What is his ways? Going back to what the brother said earlier, the laws, the Torah, the commandments, the statutes. What is a main thing that he wants you to do? Obedience over sacrifice. So when you're in your mind and you're like, man, you know, this ain't right, man. You know, why Yahawah doing this to me? His thoughts are bigger than our thoughts. His ways is bigger than our ways. He does certain things that you may feel is incorrect, but you got to let his will play out. It's going to work out for you. If you in the right mindset and you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's not incorrect. It's to better you. All right? And not necessarily saying incorrect, but certain things that you may not want to go through. You know what I'm saying? You may not want to be put through this trial. You may not want to go through this. Right? So ultimately, you just got to hold on. It's like a roller coaster ride, man. Okay? None of us like being in the positions that we're in. Is anybody in here happy with their life? Like, in the sense of your job. You're in captivity. You're in slavery. You know? Are you happy with that? So this is a situation that we're all in. None of us are happy here. We are not very happy to be here. You know? Right? But we have to roll with the punches. Like I said, it's a roller coaster ride. So upon your moral standards, upon your little ideas, upon your little views, you're thinking that you in a bad position, like you hate it here. And we do. And you want to leave. And you should have that mindset. But in the eyes of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, this is what? This is a punishment factor for you. This is a judgment for you. It's all justified because of what you did, because of what we all did as a nation. Right? So ultimately, you have to hold yourself accountable for past decisions, not even in this life. But yeah, this life too, but most likely past lives and past lives and past lives and past lives. We have to hold ourselves accountable. Right? So when you start holding on and grasping that, it all becomes a wider spectrum for you. It all becomes, man, we serving what we did thousands of years ago. We got to serve that. We got to come down here and live this out because we messed up long time ago. And it's all a part of the story. It's all a part of the will. Now, furthermore, when you understand there's no free will, it's all a part of the will of the Most High. So for you to be how you are and to go off and to do all of that and him to put you in this position to refine you and clean out those flaws and teach you how to be a judge the proper way and the correct way, he had to put you in that disciplinary program, which is Esau Edom's kingdom. Okay? That's what this place is. It's a disciplinary program, man. You getting your ass whooped, right? So this place is a disciplinary program. This is like when your kid acting bad, you send their ass to boot camp. You send their ass to military school. You know, or you get sent to an alternative school. You know? So keeping it going. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahawah's, and he hath set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. By what? By strength. So not by your capacity, man. Not by your physical means. Okay? Not by your morality. Not by how you feel. You have a moral compass, yes indeed. But you still may be clouded by the ways of the world. Where your moral compass is like, man, 3-year-old shouldn't be getting unalived. That's your moral compass. The Most High don't care. All right, so it's a lot of you Israelites right now. Back in the day, when we was told to go into Canaan, and we was told to sack this country, sack this place, sack this city, kill all men, women, and children, you would have been like Achan. You would have been over here talking about, and not to take anything. You would have been taking stuff. You would have been leaving little kids alive. And I'm not about to kill a baby. My morality is better than that. So you saying that you're better than the Most High in his judgment? Okay? You're not. You're not, man. That's why it goes back to simply following orders. Following orders, man. Don't do what you feel you want to do. All right? The Most High gives you a certain order and a certain decree, then that's what it is. You may not want to do it, right? But he's telling you to do it for a reason. Perfect example is Jonah. I don't want to go to Nineveh. Nineveh is what you would know as like a New Orleans. Okay? It's like a Las Vegas. He's telling you to go to Las Vegas and prophesy. And Las Vegas is full of wickedness, man. Okay? New Orleans is full of wickedness. But you got to go up in there and you got to prophesy. L.A. All right? Philadelphia. These type of places. These are little Ninevehs. Okay? And you don't want to go. You like, man, it's full of niggas. I don't want to go over there. That's what Nineveh was. And that's how Jonah felt. But you still had to go. Not based upon your morality or your moral compass, but upon what the Most High willed. He put those people in that position. Now he's sending somebody to help them get up out of that position. So you can't have that mindset of where I'm going to just leave my people in the pit. I'm going to just leave my people and I'm going to make it. What type of general is that? What type of captain is that? What type of leader is that? What type of teacher is that? Right? I could stop. I could disappear. I got the laws, commandments, and statutes. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I would be going against the commandments of feeding my sheep, of bidding them to the marriage. If I stop teaching. So you can't stop teaching. And a lot of you brothers, I see some brothers, you pick up the plow and then you put it down. You have committed a grave offense. You can't do that, bro. But that furthermore shows that you don't have no consideration for your fellow brother. You selfish. What's that song? I'm selfish, yeah. You're selfish. You don't want to be selfish in this truth, man. Okay? You do not want to be selfish. You want to think about your fellow brother. Hey, man, I may know this breakdown. Okay, so what? Let me teach it. Another brother may not know this. So let me bring it out. Let me help my fellow brother. Let me feed him. Bro, you taste something, and that's the same way that we are in the world. You taste something. Hey, bro, you taste that shit down there? Yo, that restaurant, they got this fire chicken sandwich, man. You need to go down there and check it out. I want you to taste it, brother. I want you to get them. Yo, they got the sweet potato fries, man. A season just right. Yeah, make sure you get the sweet potato fries. Make sure you get the chicken sandwich, all right, with everything on it. You need to taste that. I want my fellow brother to taste what I just tasted. Okay? But if you selfish and you stingy, you over here trying to harbor and trying to keep something back. You don't want to give it to your brothers. The Most High is going to take that away from you. Okay? Yeah, that's true too. As the brother said, sometimes you teach something, but go back over it and find new things. Exactly. This is an everlasting truth. So let's read morality again. Morality is a system of principles, values, and standards that guide people in deciding what is right or wrong, good or bad. As we stated, that's the Bible in general, even past the 5 books. Okay? It's a lot of things in the Torah. It's a lot of things in Isaiah. It's a lot of things in Jeremiah. Okay? You know, so you gotta eat the whole loaf. You can't just eat the first 5 books. You can't just eat the Old Testament. You need to understand what Yahawashi did. You need to understand how our people was manipulating the Torah and falling off the precepts of men, the traditions of men. Okay? You need to understand what Paul went through, how men can change. All right? So these things are necessary. The entire book, the Apocrypha, right, as well. So let's go. Let's actually get these key concepts. Right versus wrong. It helps judge if actions and character traits are honest or cruel. Now, we've been put in these situations under these curses. So therefore, when we get into the kingdom, Yahawah, we be those men, those first fruits. We what? We have a better sense of judgment. We are being raised up as judges. And you know, as a judge, you have to go to school, I believe, for like, 8 years or something like that? Let's look that up real quick. Okay? I know you got to go to law school and all of that, and it take a long time. How long do you have to go to school to be a judge? Law school takes 3 years of full-time study to complete. You got to pass the bar. Passing the bar exam and working as a practitioner attorney for several years, often 5 to 10 years, is typically required before becoming a judge. So you have to go to school for 3 years, law school, all right? And then you have to become a lawyer, okay? And then for what? For 5 to 10 years. And then you become a judge. So that's roughly about 13 years, right? You had to be trained up. You had to go through these situations. You had to learn how to deal with people. Okay? To this individual, Mama Ari, we're not talking about the chart, sister. Open your ears. Okay? If you are sincere, listen to the lesson that I'm bringing out right now. Don't be caught up on the oohs and ahs of what's on the screen. All right? So you have to go through that time frame of being proven. You have to get the experience. And this is necessary, man. Right? A lot of our people have skipped law school. You don't actually know the laws. And then you skip the experience and you jump right into the judgment part. You're not qualified. You didn't come up the correct way. Just because you know a couple precepts and you know a couple breakdowns, so what? You haven't went through the experience. You haven't, bro, you got to get hands-on. You have to get hands-on. All right? You have to be what? As a bishop, you must be apt to teach. So if you ain't lived it and you ain't going through it, you know, that's the best type of training. Going through it, applying it. Let's go to the Halalyam online. And let's go to moral. 1 second. My door ring. I think it's my mom's. Hold up. Alright, it's lucky. Alright. So moral in the Halalyam online is what? Associated with or characterized by right behavior. Also associated with or concerning conduct or moral principles. Good or bad. Now, the good or bad is determined by who? By Esau Edom at this point. In their eyes. By these Christians, by these individuals that they make a mind, they have a perspective of what's good or bad. So going back to my prior example, 3-year-olds shouldn't be unalived. Okay? That would be one of their mindsets. No, they shouldn't be unalived just because they're a baby. But the Most High goes directly against that statement. Whereas we said earlier, when we going into these lands of the land of Canaan, and you got to take out the men, the women, the children, the infant, the suckling. Okay? But today, in today's standard, which is a soft standard, their perspective is that's wicked. That's why the Most High's ways are so much higher than your ways. You and your spirit right now, you know you don't have the guts to do that. So therefore, it was a spirit that was placed on us, man. And we lived a different type of way. Okay? The old paths. This world has slowly gotten weaker and weaker and softer and softer. This is why some of you brothers, man, y'all get offended when brothers is getting in your ass. Brothers is getting on your head. Like, man, you ain't gotta talk to me like that, bro. But that's Jake's mindset, man. Okay? You know? Because that's the world still on you. That's what you have to deal with. That's how the world was training you up to be. Weak, soft. Even that right there, what the bar did, you know, which is a joke, but it's perverse as fuck. Okay? When I said that, I said getting in your ass, I had no mindset in my head about some homo shit. You understand? But that's the world on that, brother. You know what I'm saying? Because we was raised up like that. With the pause and the, you know, no homo and, bro, in the kingdom, it ain't gonna be none of that. Okay? We don't have, like, so the world has raised us up in a perverse way. Where if that's what she said, that's what he said. All these little perverse ass jokes. This is a perverse generation. Right? When I'm in the spirit, I'm not thinking about it like that. You know, and I know you just playing around, bro. But I'm just using, that was Yahawah getting you to say that for me to use that as an example of how perverse this nation is. And how our mindsets have been molded to be like that. Right? So this place is soft. So keeping it going. From Old French moral 14th century and directly from Latin moralis, proper behavior of a person in society. This society is shaped off of how Esau Edom shapes it. The world is ruled by wicked men, so therefore the people are mourning. So therefore the society is wicked. Literally pertaining to manners. All right? Or ethics. customs, manners, morals, right? So furthermore, this world is about to be guided by the proper way that Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi has created it to be guided. All right? Yeah, that's a good one, Don Lord. Like the brother said, like when people say Apostle Torah, other brothers shouldn't cuss when teaching, you know? But what is that? Can you give me a precept on what that is? Deuteronomy. All right. Deuteronomy, what? Does anybody know? All right. Deuteronomy 4:2. We shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahawah your power which I command you. So telling someone that they shouldn't cuss while teaching is adding to the law, because that's not in the law. You cannot find that in the law. Now, it's told to you to what? To have seasoning when you speak, to be apt to teach, to adjust yourself, to know your audience, to know who you're talking to know how to speak. But it's not necessarily against the law to cuss, right? But hey, if I'm teaching, man, it's like 3 grandmothers come up. I'm not really gonna cuss like that. So you also gotta have a mindset to be what? To be harmless as doves, wise as serpents. Right? You gotta know how to handle yourself, and that goes also back to morals and manners. You can't man. Hey, bro, a lot of women watch me. A lot of families watch me. Their kids watch me. You got 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds watching me, 10-year-olds. I have to understand, in my earlier years, I was just like rugged and rough and cussing. I was like like that brother Amawan Hanaya, you know, where that brother always getting his live took down, you know, because he can't watch his mouth. If that brother in here, Shalawam, I don't see him though. But he got to learn. But I had to learn. That was me. I was always getting my live took down. Because you just flowing through the spirit and you just saying whatever you feeling. And, you know, you hitting and you cutting and you saying what's right. But you got to also understand it's a certain way that you could do it that's better, that's improved. So you have to improve, and that's where the experience comes in. The more you teach, the better you're going to get at it. All right? But was corrupt communication coming out of my mouth? No. Okay? Was I teaching corruptly? No. Corrupt communication talks about me going against the doctrine. As the brother Abaniah said the other day, I ain't never go against the doctrine. You can't find me going against the doctrine. But I was what? I was a little over-righteous. I was a little overzealous. Things of that nature. But doctrine? Loving Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, never no fucking issue. Right? So over time, you learn and you grow and you understand, man. Okay? You know? So, let's keep it going. You got to be morally sound. Let's go. I'm going to get that Colossians for the brother. Colossians 3:8. But now, ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. But understand this, bro. You know, I mean, I know you understand. Filthy communication is not cussing. Filthy communication is the perverseness. It's the that's what she said, that's what he said. That's filthy communication. Okay? It's the no homo, it's the pause, it's all of that. It's perverse speech, exactly. You know, it's just the ways that you used to be, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and you like, I played football, I played, being around, I was more so a nerd, but I intermingled with a lot of different what you could call sex, you know, in high school. So I would be around the nerds. I would be around the anime. I would be around the jocks. I would be around the drug dealers. I would be around the rappers. I was kind of cool with everybody. Okay? So you learn how to adapt. And I wasn't adapting to fit in. I was just myself. But you also learn, hey, the conversation and the speech that's going on over here. These brothers talking about this. These brothers talking about this. These brothers talking about this. So I'm not going to come in the midst of the jocks talking about Inuyasha. Like me and Kakama talk about Inuyasha all day, you know? I ain't going to go amongst the jocks and talk about Inuyasha. Okay? Hey, if somebody bugging, just get their ass up out of here. I don't know what's going on. All right? You're not invited to the cookout, buddy. You're not invited. Mundu, you're not invited to the cookout. Okay? You distracting the sheep. So you also have to be apt to teach. You have to know your audience. You got to know who you're teaching. You got to know the churches, man. Look how Paul orchestrated his letters. Okay? He told the Corinthians, hey, y'all doing this, y'all doing that. He told the Galatians, y'all doing this, y'all doing that. The Philippians, y'all doing this, doing that. Some were worse than others. Some were better than others. All right? I ain't about to come in here and talking to all y'all brothers. Most of y'all in the truth. So I'm not about to try to break down the name to y'all. Y'all all got the name. But if it's somebody new that's asking for it, then okay, I'll adjust and I'll adapt to them and I'll teach them the name. I'll come to their level. So never get high-minded or thinking that you know so much where you can't, as we said earlier, breaking down an old breakdown. You have to be apt to teach. All right? I always come down to teach a brother that's down here, that's on this level, to try to help him get up to speed with us that's up here. That's what we want our brothers to do. We want our brothers to be taught and to come up to a higher level, man. Okay? I'll get that for you, bro. 1 Corinthians 9:22. And it reads, to the weak become I am as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. Right? So Paul is telling you to adjust yourself. What did Yahawashi do? Yahawashi, bro, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Okay? He what? He adjusted himself and came to a lower estate. He came as a slave. He walked amongst us. He lived the life that we live. His last reincarnation was a king, the greatest king that ever lived, other than himself coming back, King Solomon. Okay? So then he came in the direct opposite. King Solomon ruled the world, man. Okay? You know, I'm going to turn the comments off, man, if y'all can't. Yeah, come on, bro. All right? And that's wrong. Why you going to tell him to get out of here? Okay? El Mata Moro? Because you didn't even try to correct him, DeBar. You didn't even try to feed that brother. Remember, 2 admonitions, 2 warnings. All right? Yeah, not everybody is a scoffer. That's what we saying. How you ever going to get some sheep if you pushing them all away? So El Mata Moro, you said Mexican is not a race, it's a nationality. All right, understanding this. The so-called Mexicans go back to who you know as on this chart is Issachar. All right, and that is what? They are of a nation, which is the nation of Israel. Truly, according to the Bible, because this is a Bible-based live, it's only 18 nations on this planet. Now, you may have never been told that before. All right? But that's the facts. That's according to the scriptures. Okay? So, don't be deterred about what anybody said to you or anything like that. All right? If you actually trying to listen and you want some edification, then take it in. Okay? And you may learn something. But keeping it going. Yeah, but to Deborah, like, you didn't handle that shit right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like we saying, everybody's not a scoffer. And I'm gonna say this because you're gonna get that where you start learning stuff and and I had it before. I remember Kawam had it heavy. If that brother come around, that brother will tell you where he at. Brother ain't in here. He probably at work or something, but be on the comment board just muting somebody when they say one off thing. Right? But we gotta leave the room open to teach. Now, if they coming in here, they bugging out, they talking about y'all black Hebrew Israelites, blah, 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 then okay, yeah, we gonna get them up out of here. But if they just honestly mistaken or ignorant, then we gonna try to teach them. The scripture says, be open to answer, be ready to teach, be ready to answer. Prove all things. So I have to prove all things. All right? And that's, as the brother Kakama said, just because the answer is obvious to you doesn't make them off. As I was just teaching, if you actually listening to the lesson, we be up here, we have to come down to help a brother that's down here to get that brother up here. I just said this. You gotta apply what I'm saying. So did you come down to grab this brother that was down here and try to bring him up? Or did you just knock the brother down? Get up out of here. And that's what it means, being apt to teach. All right. So let's read that 1 Corinthians 9:22 again. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. Paul is a Pharisee of the Pharisees. He knows the law like the back of his hand, right? But he went into Gentiles which don't know the law, unto Israelites that was raised up as Romans, Greeks, Corinthians, Philippians, all right, Galatians, whatever. He went unto them. Do you know how vexed he must have been? Because he knows the law. He like, man, y'all got bald heads. Y'all ain't got no beards. Y'all ain't got none of this. Y'all ain't living. But it's like that sometimes. So you're going to be in the midst of these people and you still have to teach. You have to tell your brothers and sisters, man, and let Yahawah work. Just because you got the truth don't mean everybody got it. So we have to try the spirit by the spirit. Okay? I get that for you, bro. Then we're going to get back to the lesson. John 7:37. And it reads, in the last days, that great day of the feast, Yahawashi stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. If any man thirst, any man of Israel. Okay? This was a feast among Israelites. And in general, verse 38, he that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the Spirit, which they that believe on him should receive, for the Holy Spirit was not yet given, because that Yahawashi was not yet glorified. All right? So if any Israelite believes on Yahawashi, then they can come forth and they can receive this. And who draws them to believe? Yahawah. Right? Now, if an individual don't want to get it, then okay, so be it. Let them go on. But we seen individuals come, learn, disappear, come back, and stay. We seen individuals come, scoff, disappear, and come back and learn. We seen individuals come, learn, and be with us and then disappear. We seen it all. You know? It's individuals, yeah, as you said, because they left or watching in the back. It's individuals that don't want us to see that they in here. So they'll come and then they'll tap out to go outside of the live and they'll watch from the outside. And I know it's a lot of you individuals on the outside watching right now. I see y'all. Because you don't want to be associated. But you want to come through here and learn what we're teaching. And then you want to run to your live and teach it. And that's all fine and dandy, man. Go ahead. All right? It ain't stopping the show. This is not of me. This is of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay? Y'all want to take credit for whatever. Good. Go ahead. If you teaching somebody and they get edified, great. I love it. You know? But ultimately, we know Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi knows the truth. And he knows what's really going on. And if you're not living by what these teachings are, then you're not going to make it. So you can steal it, you can twist it, you can chop it up, you can cook it, you can take the recipe, and you can start a business off of it. So what? We ain't looking for that type of fame. We ain't looking for that type of validation or reward that comes with it. Our reward is in the heavens, man. It's coming in the next life. All right? Okay, so let's keep going. Back to morality. Back to morality. You want to be morally sound. Now let's go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahawah thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee, this day that Yahawah thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So if you listen to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and you do what he has commanded you to do, then you will be lifted up. You will be in a good place. What's tonight, brothers? The Shabbat. Right? So therefore, you must keep the Shabbat. That's you hearkening and being diligent, listening to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. All right? And everything that pertains unto it. I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. I went back. I got back into it. I'm not going to play it tonight. Okay? I'm going to chill out. Right? I'm going to give more time to reading, studying. I might watch a Bible movie or something. I might watch the Book of Eli. Okay? I might watch something that pertains unto, what's to come. Watching these movies, which these movies are spiritual movies. And I might see something that I didn't see last time. All right? Where really, if you understand, Eli, that's how we must be. You're not going to have a Bible with you. He didn't have the Bible with him. He had the Bible in him. He was the book. You understand? That's how we got to be. We got to speak that book. 2nd Esdras 14:34. Yeah. Subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts. Loosely quoting. So we are becoming that book, man. They can throw us into prison, but we still got that book in our mindset. We have written these laws upon our heart. So we know morally the correct way to be. Because our standard, our principles, our values is what? According to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So the image that we worship is Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. And that means the likeness. We worship the likeness, the ways that he is, not the ways of the YT man. So if you still have those worldly ways, of the YT man in you, you got to clean that out. You got to examine yourself and be like, man, I got to stop this. All right, this ain't of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. I got to quit. I got to cut it out. Okay? Zane, close the door! That boy in there playing that Zelda, man. He playing that Zelda on the piano. It sound good though, but it's drawing for my attention. Alright, I can still hear it too. Alright, anyway, verse 1, Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahawah thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahawah thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahawah thy power. Right? Now, the same way that you listen to your father, like my son, he's in there playing the piano. I have him play the piano for an hour every day. Okay? Even if he don't want to. You understand? So, but that's for his benefit. He don't even understand it. You know? So, it's the same with this truth. You got to read the Bible, man. You got to study. You got to watch a video. You got to do a lesson. You got to hit the corners. You got to do these type of things. Even if you're not feeling up to it. It's been times, bro, I got to go out. I don't even feel like it. I might feel a little sick. Which I don't really get sick, but I might, you feel tired. You feel sluggish. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But you still have to put your best foot forward and you got to go. Because you got to go. All right? You can't be like, I ain't going today. I'm making all these damn excuses. Don't be full of excuses, man. Okay? Yeah, the brother said the Odyssey movie is very heavy. Lots of correlations to Babylon. Yeah, the elders was talking about it at camp. I ain't seen it yet. But, maybe next month, I get some funds, I might go peep it or something. All right? But, yeah, man. And as the elder Ariel talks about, that was us. That's Jake's, Odysseus, I believe, and Hercules, and those individuals, All right, so verse 3. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shalt thou be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. So if we're blessed, okay? Yeah, send it to me out, the water. We're blessed. What's going to happen to the heathen? They're going to be our inheritance. According to Psalms, the 2nd chapter. We are blessed and they are less. We are to be blessed. Do you know that means for someone to bow down to you? Okay? So we favored right now, but we really ain't blessed. In the world, it's I'm blessed. I'm blessed. You ain't blessed. You a slave. But you are favored. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is dealing with you and he's going to take care of you. And ultimately, you blessed, but you truly don't know if you are 1/4 or 1/3 or 2/3. You don't know that. You could fall out. You understand? So you have to hold on. You have to maintain and continue doing the steps and the protocols and moving according to this moral compass, which is the laws, commandments, and statutes. I could chop this whole lesson up. If you don't get nothing from this lesson, get this. Keep the laws, commandments, and statutes, man. That keeps you on the correct moral compass with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. That keeps you on the correct image, the likeness, the ways. Okay? So, that's it. You go against it, and you're loving death. All those that hate me love death. How do you love Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi? By keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes. How do you hate him? By doing the opposite of that. That's how you hate him. So consider your actions. Consider your ways. All right? It's important, man. You know, so hey, man, I'm going to end it right there. Actually, let's go over to Isaiah 45. It's Isaiah 45 and 5. I am Yahawah, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girdled thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahawah, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things. So, if he brings evil upon you, it's according to what? What is it according to? If y'all been paying attention, answer that question. If he brings evil upon you, what standard is it according to? The law, exactly. The laws, right? So nobody perishes being innocent. It's according to the laws, commandments, and statutes. That's how you're being judged. When you receive judgment, it's according to that standard. All right, as we talked about, you are becoming a judge. So you have to go to what? Law school for 3 years. And then you got to be a lawyer for 5 to 10 years. All right? You know, and that's just in a secular way of explaining it to you, where you have to go through all these different years of experience to become this type of judge, which we're about to become everlasting judges. Guess what? We had to go through 6,000 years of punishment, 6,000 years of education through many different eras. Kicked out of the garden. I went through the flood. Okay? Went through the Tower of Babel. You understand? We had to go through all these different eras. The third woe, the second woe, the first woe, slavery. All these different type of eras. 70 AD. Do you know how many type of things that we have encountered? But I don't think y'all brothers really understand what I'm saying, man. Your soul knows. Your soul has been through all these different type of things, man. So when you finally get into that everlasting body, you're going to have so much education. You're going to have so many experiences. You done died this many times, like, you understand? You done dealt with all this different type of stuff. Yeah, down to earth. That's why I was talking about down to earth a couple days ago. Exactly. Down to earth is a perfect depiction of that. But okay, understanding down to earth, they're not going to put you in somebody else's body. Don't get it twisted. Right? But the trials and stuff of that nature. All right? You know? And furthermore, the soul comes into the body right when your father puts that sperm in that woman, and it latches on, it gets into the woman, it's planted. That's when the soul, the spark, goes into the vessel. And then you grow up from that. Right? But the point is, these numerous trials that you have went through has built you up morally, has showed you the correct way and the proper way to be. You needed that experience. I always say it's better to be street smart than book smart. Okay? You need that hands-on. You need to be about it. You need to be in it. You can have a stupid cop, you know, a cop that he aced, he got a 100 in his police academy, but he ain't never been on the streets. Just go watch Training Day. Officer Hope. Just go watch Training Day, man. You understand? He was good at the academy, but he got out there in the streets with Denzel. He like, yo, this shit different, man. This is different. All right? So you got to understand, you need that experience. So don't sit here and be like, man, I know the Bible, blah, 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 but you don't have the experience. You have to apply these scriptures to your life. So verse 7 again, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things. Now let's go to the next chapter, 46 and 10. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. But you down here looking at Yahawah like he did something wrong to you because you're in this situation. No, brother, it's the other way around. You did something wrong to him. Or he has to what? He has to, as the brother said, get those impurities out. Refinement like gold. He's cleaning you up. He's fixing you up. You looking at Yahawah like, nah, I don't want the upgrade. Don't upgrade me. Don't upgrade me. What did Neo say? Is that Neo? Yeah. We are forced. I'm good all by myself, but we are forced when we together, right? You make me better. Okay? You want to be with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. 2 is better than 1. You want to be with him, man. He makes you better. Upgrade. Beyonce, Jay-Z, they on bullshit, but upgrade you. Upgrade you. Right? This is what happens, man. You need to be upgraded. The scriptures tells you to first make wisdom your spouse. Okay? First, make wisdom your spouse. All right, I'm going to get y'all brothers' precepts, man, and I'm going to get up on out of here. This is Proverbs 24 and 27, and it reads, prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. Yeah, gird up thy loins like a man. Prepare thyself. Count the cost of the house which you must build. All right? So don't think, don't come into this thing and put down the plow. Okay? Now that you brothers are teaching, now you must continue. And you must do it the right way and the correct way, or your house is going to be fucked up. You're going to look back and your house is leaning to the left a little bit, leaning to the right. And it's ultimately going to fall down when a storm comes through because you didn't build it right. And guess what? You're going to have to rebuild it. That's what the 2/3 are going to have to do. All right? They was building houses, but those houses are corrupt. It's tainted. It's full of mold. You know? It's pretty much what's going on with them. This is Micah 7 and 9. I will bear the indignation of Yahawah. Because what? Because his moral standards are far superior than yours. He's doing all his pleasure. That does not mean he's going to manipulate you or do you dirty or anything like that. If he's punishing you and chastising you, it's justified. You need it. He's putting you through it for a reason. You ever thought about he's putting you through all that to make you a stronger soldier because he wants you to fight harder? So he has to put you through that, man. But you over here complaining. Take it away. Nah, man, that ain't it. I will bear the indignation of Yahawah because I have sinned against him, because you messed up. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So just hold on. Hold on. What's that outcast, man? Hold on. Be strong. You got to hold on and be strong. All right? We almost at the end. Okay? This is Sirach 1 and 11. The fear of Yahawah is honor and glory and gladness and a crown of rejoicing. You got to have that fear. You got to have that understanding. So therefore, no man can take your crown away if you have that fear, if you have that understanding, if you continue in this thing. I don't care if you've been in this thing a little bit or whatever. You got to continue, brother. You got to keep going. Verse 18 too. The fear of Yahawah is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of power, and it enlargeth their rejoicing that love him. Wisdom is what? Yahawashi. All right? So you fear Yahawah, he sends you to Yahawashi. He draws you to Yahawashi, as we talked about earlier. Therefore, you will have that crown. You will be full and with a mind like Hamashiach. Okay? All right? Yeah, bro, I saw your first comment. You know, you ain't got to put the comment twice. All right? So, hey, man, I'm going to get this last one. This Job 23:10. And then we could get up on out of here. But he knoweth the way that I take. When he have tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Okay? And that's what's happening. You're being put through the ringer. You're being put forth through much the straits that you got to go. Do you know that you're in that narrow path right now, which only one man can go? You're in that path right now. All right? Are you going to fall to the water? Are you going to fall to the fire? Or are you going to keep walking straight? Consider this, man. You know? And examine yourself. All right? I'm gonna give a little rebuke. Y'all brothers that's getting too comfortable. You come in the lesson, bro. You ain't somebody in here. I ain't gonna hit you because whatever. But you ain't put one precept the whole lesson, but you keep talking. That's not a good spirit to have. All right? Don't get too comfortable. Remember, okay? Precepts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this because I don't want to see brothers go into the elders live and you had that same mentality or that mindset. That's a way for you to get cussed out and blocked. All right? You know? Yeah, that boy nice on that piano, ain't he? The water. All right? But maintain what you did to get here. The foundation, okay, is what you should maintain. That same fervent heat, that same fervent love that you had in the beginning, keep that up. All right? Don't change up. Don't be different. So maintain what you have been doing. Studying, reading, fasting, praying. Don't get complacent in this truth. And the manners, the courtesies, the customs, the things that you do, the way that you act, improve on them. All right? You know? So, hey, with that being said, pray this was an edifying one. Remember, our standard of living is according to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakwadash. It's not according to our own mind. It's not according to how we feel. But it's according to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakwadash. So we got to carry ourselves accordingly. All right? So, hey, with that being said, giving all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. As always, Kwam Yasharahla and a Baba. Pray this was an edifying one, man. Hey, brothers and sisters, keep the faith. All right, it's a whole lot of stuff popping off. We will talk about it tonight on the round table. We're gonna go over the lesson pretty much that Elder Ariah did, but we're gonna get pictures and bring out, stuff proven, more so just showing you in a visual aspect of how we was Hercules and Odysseus and, showing you all of that, right? So we're going to go over that on the round table tonight, and we'll also touch on, what's going on with Iran and America and, all this different type of stuff. So, hey, tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right? Round table. And, hey, as always, man, brothers that are doing lessons, it's encouraged for y'all to come up and at least read, or support the lesson, man, It's a round table, and a round table is for brothers to get together, right? It's a way I want to do it to build up younger brothers to come into this thing and get more comfortable teaching, because I know it may be a little intimidating and stuff to do a live and to do a lesson and to hit the corners and all of that. But you got to start trusting in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi more, and trusting in the brotherhood, and, it'll be all good, man. All right? So get comfortable in this thing. You a prophet, okay? So you need to prophesy, all right? So, hey, Yasharahla and a Bible ball. Shalawam.